Lee, rock and roll, bud.
Oh yeah, bud. Welcome back to another episode of the old Golden Age of Gear. With, what was your name?
Joopy Lamboop.
Oh yeah, Joopy Lamboop. And I'm Derek. I don't have any fun nicknames like Jory Lambert.
Yeah, it was like on our in-ears packs with the pros. Originally, they were labeled like Dave, Joe, Roman, Murray.
Yeah.
And then the names got dumber. And then I think at some point, toward the end of the tour, Ian labeled them like Joopy, Doopy, Roopy, and Moopy.
Nice.
You know, it's the little things. When you're playing the same songs night after night for months and months, it's the little things.
Yeah.
Manny knows.
You need things to bring you happiness,
Yeah.
right? And that's the only way now?
That's the only way.
Yeah.
Stupid names.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. I appreciate it. What do you got for us?
So this week, we're going to talk about some Rev gear because...
Nepotism at
Yeah.
its finest.
Exactly. So we are going to check out the new V2 G2 distortion pedal, overdrive pedal, whatever you want to call it.
Mostly because people have been asking in the comment section, why aren't you guys featuring more Rev stuff?
Yes.
And, we're both associated with Rev.
Yes.
But we've been trying specifically to be more neutral. Like, obviously, we're using a Rev amp, but it's like,
Yes.
we're not just here to pump our own tires, but people have been asking. So that's why we're doing this feature this week.
Yes. And we're shooting this before this pedal comes out.
Ooh.
But the new V2 version of the G2, which is a fun thing to say, the V2 G2, or the G2 V2 would probably be the right way to say it.
R2D2, baby.
Exactly. It's coming out, well, by the time you see this video, it's out, but it'll be recently out. So, yeah, we get lots of people that ask questions about the differences between, the Generator 120 Mark 1 versus Mark 2 versus Mark 3 versus Revision A, B, kind of down the line. So I figured this, of the G series pedals that just came out, the G2 is the one that I think you would probably get the most use out of,
Gotcha.
out of the three of them, because the other two are, the G3 is just way too much gain and too tight of gain for what you would go for. Like, it's way more like, gent metally.
Like a jugga.
Yeah. And then the G4 is like a little bit looser, but like goes a little more to like rectifier style territory, which also is, I'm going out on a limb and saying that's not the sound you go for on a regular basis.
Not generally, no.
No.
I have played through triple Rex though. Sometimes it's the only thing that's on backline. You're like, okay, this is gonna be a weird gig.
And you loved it. Is that what you're saying?
I can get a sound out of it. It's not like the best sound for me, but I can get a sound out of it.
That's all I played for 10 years, Joe. For 10 years. It's the only way I got drive tones.
Whoa, what the Oh, hey. How are you? Like and subscribe.
So what are you saying then, Joe?
I don't know.
Are you saying that
probably gonna have to.
my tones were shit for 10 years? Is that what you just said?
That's not what I meant.
No, I also played Fenders at the time, so that's a lie.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, there you go.
but anyway, the V2 pedals is the G series pedal. So a little bit of history. Also, I can't use earplugs. I don't care if it's going to be loud in my ear.
We're also using live speakers at my request.
Yes.
Because the torpedoes are great, but it's not my favorite way to listen to guitar. So we're trying this out for this batch of videos, and if it works out, then we'll keep doing it. If not, we'll go back to the torpedo. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's loud in here.
Yeah. So some brief history for those of you guys that don't know a lot about Rev. Our president and designer, Dan, designed an amp called the Generator 120. It is our flagship amp. That was in late 2013. Dan and I met. We partnered up in 2014, and we started, marketing and building generators for more than just the people that he met, including me locally here. In 2018, we released the first of the G series pedals. They were not released in order at all. We did the G3 first, the G4 second, and then the G2 was third. So, in the wrong order. But what they are is they are solid state versions of the preamp from the Generator 120 Mark II series amplifier. Okay. So they get very close to how the Mark II drive channels sound. Feel, they still kind of felt like pedals, but at the time it was, and I'm not just saying this to toot our own horn, the G3 was the most amp-like high gain or distortion pedal I had played.
Toot toot.
Yep. Yeah. Way to go, Dan. That's all Dan.
He's good at what he does, that guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Time passed and the Generator 120 underwent more upgrades, like when it got the torpedo embedded in the reactive load box, and it was the start of the Mark III series. And then last year we did the 10th anniversary edition, which was a new revision. So it's still Mark III because we decide our Mark series, for anybody who cares, based off of the features that are in the amp, not the voicing. So if there's a voicing change, it becomes a new revision.
Right.
If there's a feature change, most of the time, then it becomes a new Mark series. So the 10th anniversary or the 120 Revision B amp, when it was done, Dan had revoiced the drive channels and said, hey, I'm going to take a crack at updating the pedals to have them match the current amplifier that's out. And thus the new G Series V2 pedals were born. So today we're going to dive into the G2, which is the crunch channel on the Generator. All our pedals are color coded, the green, purple, and red, because the logo on the amps glow that color when you're on those channels. So,
there will be a quiz on all that history later.
Well,
so make sure you took notes.
Funny thing, which everybody will get annoyed that we haven't played him yet, so I'll get Joe to play him in just a second. Everybody thinks that the G2 is a tube screamer. Or I should say a lot of people think that because it's green.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just that was the color that Dan chose for the logo to glow on the crunch channel. And because we had done the purple and the red first, I was like, well, the G2 has to be green because it has to match the rest of...
Yeah.
So, in hindsight, not a great idea to have another green
Pedals
pedal.
can be whatever color they want.
They can. But I have learned that making a green pedal means people think it's a tube screamer. Also, today, sponsored by some little convenience store in Pembina, North Dakota, where I bought real sugar Pepsi.
Oh.
Cheers. So,
Tink.
yeah, sure.
Cheers, buddy.
Okay, so I'm going to let you play it, and I'll talk about some of the, kind of features on it and, what makes it unique. And, yeah. So I'm going to start with everything in the middle. So everything's at noon.
Because as we said last week,
Yes.
everything has to sound good at noon.
Correct. And we'll play the V2 first, and then we'll do some comparisons against the V1. We have a switch on them. All of our pedals have a switch for different drive voicings. On the G2,
Okay.
it's called drive, and on the G3 and G4, it's called aggression. Spoiler alert, they're doing pretty much the same type of thing. We just thought putting the term aggression on a pedal that we were going to market as an overdrive / crunch pedal was, well, too aggressive. So
There you go.
it says drive. So
Okay.
anyway, we're in the middle, which is drive mode off, and take it for a spin.
Okay.
We can roll the gain way back.
I kind of like it gainy, to be honest,
Yeah?
but yeah. God, sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's what the gain cranked. Now that drive switch, why don't you play, and I'll flick the drive switch up to the blue mode and the red mode for anybody who cares. The reason it's blue and red is the toggle switch on the amp lights up. and it shows you which mode you're in. So we just color coordinated it to what the amp says, but it makes no sense on the pedal because what would have been cool in hindsight is if we could have made it so that like when you move to the blue mode that the LED changed to blue, or you move to the red mode, the LED changed. But yeah, you know.
Hey, that was always V3.
No, hopefully not. For the record, I hate when we do like new versions of things, but not enough that when Dan brings me something being like, hey, I made a tweak to this and it's better, and then I play it and it is better, not enough for me to be like, nope, forget it, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
But it is super annoying because I'm that guy that hates when I buy the new iPhone and then a month later the next iPhone comes out and I'm like, oh, do I need that one instead?
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So you go ahead and play, and I'm gonna flip through those modes.
Okay. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and to me, there's a bigger difference between off and blue is more how it feels. Because the saturation changes, the EQ changes just slightly, but it's more how it feels between off and blue, where off to red, there's a noticeable saturation difference right away.
What's changing internally circuit-wise, do you know?
I think, more caps.
Yeah.
And I think different diodes, but I'm not 100% sure.
Gotcha.
So I am not our circuit guy, so those are better Dan questions. So, yeah. How I like using this pedal, or have always liked using this pedal, is I've always used it at church. Like, so like, here's my fairly clean tone, right? So I'll often use it just as like a slight overdrive, and then use my just use the volume pot on my guitar to kind of pull things back. Yeah. So it's a really tight overdrive, and it's also got like a relatively low noise floor. I mean, I have P90s, and like even if I put the gain up, like that's from 0 to noon.
Crank it. I mean, and that's quite gainy.
Okay, even with the red mode, like.
Yeah.
And what kind of what sells me on an overdrive pedal is if I can clean it up and it doesn't feel like it's kind of, I wouldn't say that it's falling apart, but that almost like it breaks off in bits, kind of like if you have a gate on. I find that sometimes you'll hear your drive doesn't just like smoothly glide down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what determines how much I like overdrive pedals.
Yeah.
I mean, besides voicing.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, most of the voices that are out there, they're useful for something and they sound cool. Yeah. But how well the pedal functions when you're rolling things back is what's most important to me.
Gotcha.
So the differences between the two. So we're going to check out the V1. The V1 is a bit hotter, just right out of the gate. And like, you can hear right off the bat the noise floor difference between the two. So in the V2, Dan's made it quite a bit quieter. The V1 is quite a bit gainier.
Yeah.
So like, do you mind switching them?
Yeah.
So. So it's not that like the V1 is like way worse than the V2. To me, it's little things like The top end is quite a bit different. It's just smoother here. Like it's not like it lacks top, and it's not like I feel like, oh, it's, you know, there's a blanket on it as you roll the top out. But on the V1, like it's a little more like the tops. I don't want to say ice picky, but like definitely with this right at my ear, I'm like, yeah. As soon as you turn
quite
this
a bit
on,
brighter. Yeah, this feels ampier.
This does, the new one. Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the main, like, kind of differences between them. Again, I mean, I feel like the blue mode on here. So that's off. And then the blue mode. I feel like it adds some low mid to it, which makes it feel fuller and better. So, and even without rolling my volume pot back, just by lightening my pick attack.
Way more responsive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to take it for another spin?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
So we know that it gents, but does it flappy hand?
Let's see. Do you want more or less gain? Let's figure that out. Like, what would you change?
I probably would leave it just like that.
All right.
Yeah, and then that way, if I need more gain out of it, I'd hit it with something else.
So it's all at noon with the blue drive mode on is where I have it set.
Come on.
There it is. Nice. Oh, very nice. I like.
Nice, good.
So yeah, and then other than that, I mean, it's just aesthetic differences, right? Like Dorian now works for us and is our, we don't really have a title for him, but like
Interior designer.
Yeah,
Exterior designer.
Media director, I think is what I've been saying most of the time. Because
What would you like to be called, Dorian?
Yeah, Dorian. Come on. Dorian. The wizard.
The wizard.
Grandmaster Dorian. Like just like Grandmaster Flash, but no. Dorian is the reason that everything that we do looks good now. Whether it's video, whether it's design on things. Yeah. Everything he does makes us look better.
He's a fancy boy.
He is.
Yep.
So, you know, he came up with, like, almost all of our new pedals have, like, this border on them. And he changes fonts, and, you know, he often will be like, so, is that how that's going to be laid out? Like, there's often the, like, yeah, so.
So is this is the final then, is
Yeah.
it? No, just asking.
So could I take a quick crack at it and see what I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we did the like raised metal badges on them now to make them a little bit fancier. I don't know. I would love to hear in the comments if you guys have any of the G Series pedals, and of them, which of the three are your favorite? Spoiler alert, my favorite actually is the G2. The G3 is our best seller. That's the thing we're most known for. And it is fantastic. This is plugged in, isn't it? Right? Like I have.
Yeah, I think so.
So, like the G3. And then the G2. I think because the older I get, the more I gravitate towards like just crunch tones and overdrive tones than I do really high gain. I mean, I know that's lots of gain, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
the older I get, I used to hate Marshalls. Like I hated them. Actually, that reminds me, what made me turn the corner on Marshalls, because I refused to use them. I got a Marshall when I had my triple rectifier when I was playing in a band. I blew the output transformer on my rectifier, and it was back when it was Mother's Music here in Winnipeg. They gave me a Marshall triple super lead. I think it was the JCM 2000 triple super lead, if I remember correctly. Does that sound right, Dorian? Yeah. They gave me that amp as a loaner. Piece of shit. It's one of the worst amps I've ever played.
I thought this was going to be like, man, it was amazing.
No.
Totally turned the page.
I hated it. And actually, what turned the page for me was you playing when we did the Torpedo Live video shoot thing at Paul's. We borrowed Mike Hall from the Killer Dwarfs. We borrowed his JCM 800 CSA edition.
Oh, yeah.
And we borrowed Sonic Backline. Is it Sonic? I can't remember.
Yeah, Sonic is the backlight company in town.
Yeah, what's his? I can't remember his name right now.
Damon.
We borrowed, Damon had a 76 or something JMP.
Okay.
We borrowed those 2 amps, and I don't know if you remember any of this. We did a Torpedo Live video back probably 20...
Me and Ariel did it?
Yes.
Yeah,
And we had your... either yours or Ariel's deluxe reverb.
It would have been his.
Or deluxe. We had 2 Fenders and we had 2 Marshalls. And as soon as you plugged into the JMP, I was in the control room with Paul, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And I came in and I'm like, are you running any pedals? And you're like, nope. And I'm like, Marshalls don't sound like that. And then as soon as you were done and you left, I sat down with Paul and I played that JMP of his, and then also the JCM 800. And I was like, these are amazing. And then I bought that JCM 800 that I had you go pick up for me
when I lived in
Toronto.
Yeah.
Right after that. And then later on, Mike Hall sold me that, the JCM 800.
Cool.
Actually, I don't know if they can see it in frame, but it's sitting right above Joey's head. So that, we call it the Randy Marsh amp because it says Marsh on it instead of Marshall. And it is the best 800 I've ever played. It's a 50 watt. I think we figured out it was 85. I think 86. Yeah. Dorian is our in-house Marshall guy.
Yeah.
So, but that sent me down that road was when we did that video.
Cool.
And since then, I've collected a number of Marshalls.
Sick.
Yeah.
And that's why the G2 V2 is really cool.
yeah. Which has nothing to do with Marshalls. It's not a Marshall in a box. It's, I would say it's a very like modern crunch / I'd say crunch style overdrive or distortion sound.
Cool.
It is my favorite channel on our amps. Like on my favorite of all of our amps that we've ever built is the Generator 740 Mark II. The green channel on that amp is still my favorite thing that Dan's ever done. Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Will you play us out?
I can, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah.
Golden Edge Gear, Derek, Joey. We'll see you next time.
There you go. See you next time.